day, friends. We are here today to discuss the forthcoming IPO from Mrs. Bector's Food Specialities Limited, which has its anchor allocation on Monday, the 14th of December. The issue opens on Tuesday, the 15th of December, and closes on the 17th of September, which is Thursday. The price band of the issue is 286 rupees to 288. The company is raising 40.5 crore by way of a fresh issue and 500 crores by way of an offer for sale, where the present PE investor would be selling the shares. Uh, the company is into primarily food production, food items, and it has two lines of business. One is biscuits and cookies, and the second is buns and breads. Of course, the confectionery or the baking business also includes items like frozen items like cakes, some kind of pastries, etc. Uh, the the uh, the the company had a top line of 762 crores for the year ended March 20. It is into three different business verticals. One is your uh, biscuits and cookies. The second is breads, buns and breads and bakery items. And the third is others, which primarily consists of supplies as contract manufacturer, which it does for Mondelez India currently. Within the biscuits, it has two verticals. One is domestic sales and the second is exports. Roughly 60% of the company's top line comes from the biscuit and cookies division. The second line is the baking line, baking products line, which consists of bread, various types of breads and buns, which it supplies to QSR customers like McDonald's through its two franchisees, one for West and South, the other for North and East, and Burger King. And bread, which is sold under the mother brand of English Oven. 34% of the company's top line comes from these bread products. The third segment is, like I mentioned, contract manufacturing, where it makes certain products, including Oreo biscuits, for Mondelez India. The, the company was positively impacted as a whole as a result of COVID 19, where sales of bread and its biscuits shot up with people following work from home, people tending to buy more of such ready to eat products rather than trying to go out and eat, which was under lockdown. Of course, it also had some sort of a negative impact because QSR, which was a dominant business for the bread and baking business, suffered a setback with the QSR companies more or less shut down and reopening only in the second quarter of FY21. So on the operating front, the company has operating margins of about 45% upward. It differs slightly from each segment, and uh, it 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 is a it's not a pan India company. So the two verticals are differently placed. The biscuits division is primarily a North India focused company, which is NCR, Delhi, and the states of Punjab and UP, where it is very dominant. Of course, Himachal and J&K also come into it, but primarily it's UP, NCR, and Punjab where the company is focused on. The breads division, it has three factories for breads and bakery products. One is located out of Noida, which caters to the NCR region. The second is in Bangalore, which caters to Bangalore, and the third is in Khopoli, Maharashtra, which caters to the cities of Mumbai and Pune. Uh, on the biscuits front, the exports suffered a setback last year when the company took a write-off of about 7 crores, which virtually wiped out the profits from the export division. And on the top line of 762 crores, the company reported a PAT of 30 crores. which certainly is not very uh, positive. Of course, the first half of FY21 has seen a robust jump in profits, with the net margin moving up sharply over three times from 2.8% in the previous half year, moving up to 9%. Some of it could be attributed to positivity of COVID, like I mentioned in the biscuits and bread segment, and that could get adjusted as we go forward when the institutional part of the business that is supplying buns to QSR comes back to near normal, and the company is back to normal. The funds, like I mentioned, about 40 crores is being raised for expansion of the Punjab plant in of the biscuits line in Punjab, and the company going forward is looking to expand at a greenfield project in the state of Madhya Pradesh, which would primarily be the biscuits. Competition for this company is in the FMCG space from large players like a Britannia and a Nestle, and you could compare it from the snacking part of it, even though it's not an identical business with, say, a Yellow Diamond or Pratap Snacks. In terms of valuation, while based on March FY20 numbers, the PE would be a steep 54 PE as a price band, considering the fact that the company had this write-off and it was not a normal year for the company. Uh, Considering the numbers that the company has registered in the first half, which again, like I mentioned, would not be absolutely comparable, the PE would be a more sedate or a more respectable under 30 kind of numbers going forward. Of course, the two names that I took, a Nestle and a Britannia, have a top line of closer to 12,000 crores. Britannia is a shade lower than 12,000. Nestle is a shade higher than 12,000. So they are not absolutely comparable in terms of performance. More importantly, they are neither comparable in terms of size, with your target company being about under 800 crores as of FY20, while these companies are like at 12,000 crores. Here, viewers, I want to make one very clear distinction. An IPO consists of primarily two parts. The first part is the IPO itself, the issue, the subscription, and the listing. Post listing, or let us say post 1 week of listing, it becomes a different ball game altogether. More than 70-75%, if not 90%, of shareholding pattern of the public issue changes hands within the first 24 to 96 hours of listing of any company. Once that happens, you have a new set of investors who are there in the company or who remain in the company, and a large set of investors comes in for the first time post this listing, and maybe after this first, second, third day of churn. You as an applicant for the IPO have to decide whether you want to be just there for the listing pop which is there, or you want to continue to be a long-term player in that investment. You did not mix the two issues. You could decide to apply, and on the basis of you being successful, take the profit, get out of the company, and then decide to re-enter after the share has sort of cooled off or the price is near normal, etc. And there is no more euphoria in the market. You also need to understand one thing, that a lot of the pop comes because the HNI makes an application with borrowed funds. His borrowed funds increases the cost of application for him, and it has been observed in many issues that the cost of borrowing as a percentage of the issue price changes the level playing field or the break-even field for the investor by as much as 50 to 80% of the issue price. Let us take the recent example of Burger King, which listed just today. The issue price was 60, the cost of funding was between 28 and 30, which means the issue price effectively for the HNI became 1.5 times the issue price. Similarly, here, the kind of figures that one hears about, that this issue on the HNI portion is going to get subscribed upwards of 450 times. What does this 450 time mean for the investor? It implies a fund cost in the region of 170 upward, which means 70% of the issue price would be the cost of funding. Uh, where do I get this number from? I am taking the same kind of application that was received by HNIs through funding in the previous issue of Burger King, which was about 43,000 crores. Considering that about 40 to 43,000 crores comes in here, you could have a subscription of anywhere between 450 to 500 times from HNIs in this issue. So, as I have detailed to you in the issue on subscription, from subscription point of view, undoubtedly is going to do well. There are going to be no concerns on subscription or subscription blues, as we call in the market. Post listing, when the company's valuation moves from 1800 plus crores to 2800 crores, is when one would have to take a call whether you would like to remain invested in the company or you would like to look at your investment all over again. Have a good time investing in this issue, and hopefully, if you do get subscription, I am sure you will make a decent sum of money. Thank you for watching.